Question number 41. Which sense organs contains chemoreceptors? በእያንዳንዱ ሴንስ ኦርጋን ውስጥ ስፔሻላይዝድ የሆኑ ሪሰፕተሮች አሉ። ሪሰፕተርስ ማለት cells that are very important to detect any kind of environmental change in it. Let's say for example, skin ውስጥ thermoreceptors የሚባሉ ቴምፕሬቸርን ዲቴክት የሚያደርጉ receptor cells are. The hotness or the coldness of a given substance or object can be detected by the thermoreceptors found in the skin. ስለዚህ በእያንዳንዱ ሴንስ ኦርጋን ውስጥ ሴንሰሪ ሪሰፕተሮች አሉ። ሴንሰሪ ሪሰፕተርስ cells that are very important to identify, to detect any environmental change. So, which sense organ contains chemoreceptors? Receptors that detect chemical substance. Chemoreceptors. Good. Let's say for example, the receptors that are found inside the tongue is said to be taste buds. Taste buds ይባላል። ምላሳችን ውስጥ የምናገኛቸው ሴንስ ኦፍ ቴስት ዲቴክት የሚያደርጉ ሴሎች taste buds ይባላል። They are very important to identify chemical substances in the form of solution. የሆነ ኬሚካል ሳብስታንስ አፋችን ውስጥ በሚገባበት ጊዜ ምን አይነት ቴስት እንዳለው ዲቴክት ያደርጋል። ያ ኬሚካል ሳብስታንስ መጀመሪያ አፋችን ውስጥ ይገባል። ከገባ በኋላ በምራቅ አማካኝነት ዲዞልቭ ይሆንና it becomes solution. So taste buds are the specialized cells that are found in the tongue that are very important to detect chemical substance, the taste of the chemical substance which is found in the form of solution. How about nose? The nose also contains olfactory cells that detect chemical substance in the form of gas. የሆነ ኬሚካል ሳብስታንስ በጋዝ መልክ አፍንጫችን ውስጥ በሚገባበት ጊዜ ምን አይነት ስሜል እንዳለው ዲቴክት የሚያደርጉ አፍንጫችን ውስጥ የሚገኙ ሴሎች olfactory cells ይባላል። So olfactory cells are the sensory receptors found in nose that detect chemical substance in the form of gas. The taste buds that are located inside the tongue is said to be taste buds that detect chemical substance in the form of solution. So the nose and the tongue contains chemoreceptors, receptors that detect chemical substance. So the answer is B. The answer is B. Nose and tongue. Nose and tongue contains nose and tongue contains receptors that detect chemical substances. Thank you so much. The next question number 42. The newly discovered cells of taste is said to be blank. The newly discovered cells of taste. በነገራችን ላይ cells of taste detect የምናደርገው by using our tongue. The tongue is very important to detect cells of taste. But how many types of tastes can be detected by our tongue? Mainly 4 different types of tastes. The one is said to be the sweet taste, the bitter taste, the sour taste, salty taste. But there is a newly discovered sense of taste which is not sweet, not bitter, not sour, not salty, but different from this. This newly discovered sense of taste is said to be umami. Umami ይባላል። ስለዚህ ኡማሚ ምን አይነት ቴስት ነው? ኩብራትና ኩብራት ኡማሚ ስዊት አለ፣ ጣፋጭ ነው። ቢተር አይደለም፣ መራራ አይደለም። ሶር አይደለም፣ ሳቲ አይደለም። ከነዚህ ከአራቱ የጣዕም አይነቶች ውጭ የሆነ የተለየ ጣዕም ኡማሚ ይባላል። But can you tell me an example of chemical substance that have umami taste? Good. ሾርባ ሬሴ for example መውሰድ ይችላል። ሾርባ ምን አይነት ጣዕም ያለው? Is that sweet? Is that bitter? Is that sour? Is that salty? No. ስለዚህ ጣፋጭ አይደለም፣ መራራ አይደለም፣ ቆምጣጣ አይደለም፣ ጨዋማ አይደለም። ከነዚህ ከአራት የተለያየ ጣዕም አይነት የተለየ ጣዕም ነው ያለው። The name given to these different types of taste is said to be umami. ስለዚህ ለምሳሌ ሾርባ ከነዚህ ከአራት የጣዕም አይነት ውጭ ስለሆነ which is umami taste ነው ያለው። Let's say for example ቀይ ወጥ መውሰድ ይችላል፣ ዶሮ ወጥ መውሰድ ይችላል። Let's say for example ቅቅል መውሰድ ይችላል፣ ሽሮ ወጥ መውሰድ ይችላል። So something different types of taste is said to be umami. That's why the newly discovered sense of taste is said to be umami. Umami ማለት ከነዚህ ከአራቱ የጣዕም አይነቶች ውጭ የሆነ በቅርቡ ስያሜ የተሰጠው the newly discovered sense of taste umami ይባላል። Umami ይባላል። Thank you so much. So let's proceed to question number 43. 43. Question number 43. Question number 43. The back side of the tongue is sensitive to which taste? Huge sense of taste can be detected by our tongue. So don't forget that. Our tongue basically contains 4 different parts. These are the sides of the tongue. This is said to be side of the tongue. Side of the tongue. Whereas this is said to be the tip part of the tongue. Tip part of the tongue. The middle part of the tongue. The middle part of the tongue. Whereas the back side, the back part of the tongue, which is located as the back side, is said to be back of the tongue. So these are the different portions, the different parts of our tongue. From these different parts of the tongue, which one is sensitive to bitter taste? Sensitive to bitter taste. The back side. Back bitter. ስለዚህ ይህን back side of the tongue basically identify የሚያደርገው በዋናነት identify የሚያደርገው የጣዕም አይነት which is bitter ነው። So the back side of the tongue is sensitive to bitter taste. Back bitter. ስለዚህ እዚህ back side ላይ የምናገኛቸው ቴስት በዶች በዋናነት basically detect የሚያደርጉት identify የሚያደርጉት bitter taste ነው ማለት። So the back side of the tongue is sensitive to which taste? Bitter taste. ጥያቄ የምጠይቀውስ how about the tip part? ይህ ጫፍ የምላሳችን ክፍል እዚህ ጫፍ ላይ የምናገኛቸው ቴስት በዶች ምንድን ነው ዲቴክት የሚያደርጉት? The sweet taste. Not only the sweet but also salty taste. So salty and sweet can be detected by the tip part of the tongue. Whereas the side of the tongue are sensitive to sour. Side sour. So this side አካባቢ የምናገኛቸው ቴስት በዶች የበለጠ አይደንቲፋይ የሚያደርጉት ዲቴክት የሚያደርጉት sour taste ነው። So the sides of the tongue, the two sides of the tongue are sensitive to sour taste. How about the middle side of the tongue, the middle part of the tongue? This is sensitive to sweet. So don't forget that. the middle and the tip. The middle and the tip. Sweet, sweet. But the tip, in addition to sweet, it is sensitive to salty taste. Salty taste. ስለዚህ ምላሳችን የተለያዩ ክፍሎች አሉት። የባክ ሳይድ ሳይድስ ኦፍ ዘ ታንግ፣ በሚድል ዘ ቲፕ ፓርት ኦፍ ዘ ታንግ፣ እያንዳንዱ ፓርት ኦፍ ዘ ታንግ ደግሞ ለተለያዩ የጣዕም አይነቶች በጣም ሴንሲቲቭ የሚሆንበት መንገድ አለ። አሁን ዘ ኒው ዲስከቨርድ ሴንስ ኦፍ ቴስት which is ኡማሚ። ኡማሚስ በየትኛው እንደው ዲቴክት ማድረግ የሚቻል ኡማሚ በነገራችን ላይ ስፔሲፊክ የሆነ ሳይት የለውም። ኡማሚ ቴስት ማለት ከነዚህ አራቱ የጣዕም አይነቶች ውጭ የሆነ ጣዕም የነዚህ የጣዕም አይነቶች ቅልቅል ወይ ደግሞ ድብልቅ የሆነ ጣዕም That's why it can be detected by all sides of the tongue. It has no specific location. It has no specific location. Thank you so much.